eyes needed to, there you
Oh,
go.
my face. Look at my pom-poms.
Your eyes are
Is that better?
I think so. I can't see myself at all. I have no idea.
So, I don't know. Oh, because you know what it is? You have yours like super bright. Mine is.
Oh, your settings are not?
Yeah, and it's probably not going to let me.
Oh, there we go. Oh,
Boop.
Oh, there, that's better. Oh, now we can see. I mean,
Look at that.
I really wanted to see myself in high def, but hey.
Well, what up?
Oh,
I for sure
friends.
can't watch the things then, though, right? Can I? Oh, maybe
sure.
I can.
You should be able to.
Let's look.
I would assume you can. So we're having some technical difficulties, Mercury in retrograde, just saying.
Is that what it is?
Or that's just
Mercury
it actually is.
retrograde?
It actually is.
Who knew?
And also my life this week, if I'm being honest. So
And also my life.
so my life is experiencing Mercury in retrograde this week.
Oh no.
Tried doing a live post this week on my page, and the same thing happened, so that I looked blurry and weird. And I was only like gonna hop in and quick talk about something, and then like wouldn't work. I'm like, I talk, and then it would stop working. I talk, and it stopped working. I was like, I just embraced it. I just went right along with it. I'm like, well,
That's the other one.
uh-oh.
That went for
Let's hope
5
that
seconds.
we're trying to figure out if we can get it live on
Come on now.
Nat's iPad here, because what we want to do is be able to see comments if anybody's watching today. If you have comments or want to participate, we want to be able to see your comments. And so because my phone is out of commission here, I don't know what's happening. We are trying to use her phone, and we're not sure if we can double up on that in the page.
I don't know if I can. You know, sorry guys.
I
did my best. I don't really know. I can't find it.
It won't let you go to...
It won't let me because that is me. And so...
Women of Wellness is live now. Click on that. See, hold on, friends.
All right.
Okay, well...
Okay, then. We'll just stick with that.
That was a painful start to our...
Fuck me. I'm over this.
So I want to be honest that
Do you like that the seasons keep
I know, right? We go from like
us.
fall to deep winter out the back window.
Yep.
It's literally ridiculous, and we are not drinking coffee today.
Nope. We are day drinking. Because I'm 100% that bitch. Just saying.
Mine says, you are awesome. Keep that shit up. This is just my personal
true.
reminder after my week I've
Keep
had.
that shit up.
Because I do need it.
Mm-hmm.
So we hope you're all well. Our apologies. Natalie and I are in a state today.
We're trying. We really are.
We are going to show up. We're going to try it. We're going to do what we can, but I will not guarantee anything. We're just going to
I'll guarantee thing 1 and thing 2 will be here the whole time.
That's the only guarantee we have for this day, my friend.
That's all I can
is that
say.
we'll be here. So, yes. So anyway, we are going to talk today. You kind of gave it a fun name, which was I'm okay, you're okay, we're okay, which is really not.
Because
we're
who's
okay.
okay? Is anybody okay?
No one
We're
is
not
okay. So we're going to talk about that in a minute, and always we like to try to open with something a little more lighthearted, other than just our costumes.
And our shit show of getting the equipment
the
working.
technology to
Just
work.
saying.
You know, I mean, I'm just going to really quick courage.
Just liquid courage. We're good. Okay, so we're going to do some games.
We're going to do a little bit of gaming. Hopefully this time will be more appropriate, so hopefully we can actually have a game. Next time we're going to have a water challenge. You're definitely going to want to show up for that, because I'm telling you what, it's going to be amazing. So
I hear, and I will wear black so that it becomes
a wet t-shirt contest.
There is nothing pornographic.
It would be awesome if we actually took a phone. And
what is that? There we go.
it might actually happen.
There we go.
So,
Anything else? Is there anything else that needs to happen today? Just want to know.
do you ever have that day where you're like, I maybe should just go back to bed?
Pretty
and
much.
Start over tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
This entire week has been like that.
Can we go back to bed for a week?
I could vote that in.
Are you for that?
Are you?
We are not okay. We are not fine. Unless you're talking about effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
I was like, what was the last one?
We are not. Is anybody out there fine? You can tell us.
If you
I'm
are,
not sure if I'll see your
I'm
comments,
glad you're living
but...
large, but I'm not living large right now. So we'll talk about what prompted this whole. We'll talk about that in a minute. But let's do the game, because dear Jesus,
do the game. Dear Jesus.
Okay, so
So
okay, so what we're gonna do, we're playing bad person game, Cards Against Humanity.
Cards Against Humanity.
So what we're gonna do is
that should go well.
We're gonna flip over. Normally, obviously, there's a group. We're gonna flip over the one card that's kind of the starter card, and Natalie and I are gonna look in our small hand of cards. Then we'd have to have followers to help us vote, which we don't have today. So we're gonna, and if you sign in and want to put your vote in the comments, we'll look for the comment.
Please.
So we're gonna do our best to pick from our handful of cards.
Okay.
Hopefully something's funny today. That's all I've got. Okay, ready?
Got it.
Here we go. This is the first song or first card. Oh my God, Blink.
Do we have to sing that?
No. Blink. There's a no from me, dog.
There's a no from me, dog.
So this question, so it says blank question mark. That's a no from me, dog.
I don't really have any great ones, so here it is.
Okay, ready? Okay, what's yours now? Okay, so again, so put it in there. Put your word in there. So read the card as yours.
Like 50 mosquito bites? Not for me, dog.
Mine. Getting my butt trapped hilariously in a tuba. That's not for me, dog.
That has to win, for sure. That has to win.
Can we just say that a butt in a tuba ever is kind of straight up?
If your butt is in a tuba, like, that's a bad day.
It really doesn't. I mean, I don't really care who wins if I'm just being really honest, but it's for the humor. Okay, good. So pick another draw card. So you got four in your hand, and then pick one of those. Pick
I have to pick one of these ones?
Yeah. And then you can read this one. You read this one.
Oh my God.
Okay, go.
16 people, 39 days of blank, one survivor. Mm-hmm. Gosh.
I can't decide.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm doing this. I have another one I want to play, but I'm saving it.
Okay,
it's like
I'm gonna do this one then.
Okay, so then I'll read mine first. So mine is 16 people, 39 days of delighting in the pain of others, one survivor, which is kind of what those shows are. But anyway, that's more real.
16 people, 39 days of good old-fashioned face-to-face conversation, one survivor.
I picked these like therapist ones.
Oh yeah, she did go through and do some pruning.
I hand chose so that we were not being super disrespectful because they are legit.
I don't know. What do you think?
I like yours better. Actually.
All right.
I like yours better. Mine was sort of a womp womp. So this is you. That's you.
I keep that one.
All right, here we go. Here is the next one. Oops, I did it again. I played with blank. Did I pick another? I didn't pick a fourth card here. Oops, I did it again. I played with blank.
Okay, I've got one, but I don't know if it makes any sense.
I don't know if mine does either. Okay, go ahead.
Oops, I did it again. I played with going to prom with a 108-year-old vampire.
'Tis the season.
Tis the
Happy
season.
Halloween. Oops, I did it again. I played with two girls sharing one cup of poop.
No.
I know, right? It's just the funniest card. It doesn't even matter what it says. Is anybody voting? No. Marsha. Oh, Marsha. Hi, Marsha. Good morning. You're going to be sorry you signed in, perhaps, but that's okay. Okay, we're playing our card game, and now it's your turn to read. Go ahead.
Okay, it's morphin time. Mastodon, pterodactyl, triceratops, saber-toothed tiger, blank.
It's morphin time. Okay. Okay. You have to play yours first, and I'm going to read mine first.
You ready?
You can't look. Yeah, play
okay.
yours. No, go ahead and play
I go play mine?
You play yours. Do you want to read yours first?
I'll try.
Go ahead.
Okay, it's morphin time. Mastodon, pterodactyl, triceratops, saber-toothed tiger. All these boys in my yard for milkshakes. That's all I got. I'm sorry. That's all I got. These are the cards you get. You do what you can do.
It's morphin time. Mastodon, pterodactyl, triceratops, saber-toothed tiger. Natalie doing the splits.
Oh, that's good. That's epic, actually.
I made that up myself.
I bet you did.
If you haven't seen, and I haven't shared the video because Natalie might never forgive me, I just want you to know that one Natalie, Mar can actually still do the splits. I could never do them.
Almost.
And
like 6 inches.
I count it because it was pretty damn, I was impressed with your skills.
It usually takes some alcoholic courage Just saying.
And you made some magic in my backyard. Okay. All right, how did Stella get her groove back?
How did Stella get her groove
Oh my
back?
God, that's a good one. I have two funny ones.
I just don't. Just hanging out, you know? I think that she stacked mine to be particularly
I was over here, I was
awful.
like doling Natalie all the bad ones. Pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening, pizza at supper time. Yeah, I think that's how she got her groove back, man. I don't know.
It gives me my groove back. I don't know about you. Pizza anytime.
Pizza
That's right.
anytime. Okay, ready? Here we go.
Oh.
We're almost done, friends, by the way, in case you were like, oh my God, how long is this going to go on before these people are going to give me something of substance? Go ahead and read it. I don't have one. I haven't looked.
I hope this works.
Okay.
I'm a bitch. I'm a lover. I'm a child. I'm the great Corn Julio.
Oh, that might have just made my whole day.
That just reminds me of college. I can't even tell you. My roommate Dottie, like, oh God, over and over after a good night of drinking would come back. And like, that was his word.
Yep, no, totally. All right, ready?
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right, I'm a bitch, I'm a lover, I'm a child, I like big butts and I cannot lie.
These other bitches, they can't deny.
Maybe we should
I don't know.
rap. I don't know. I kind of like cornholio, even though I do I like big butts, but I really think that you might have taken that one.
For the
You might have taken that one. All right, here we go. Ready?
pity, for the pity.
No, that was a good one, man. Cornholio wins all. Siskel and Ebert have planned blank.
No, panned.
Siskel and Ebert have panned blank as poorly conceived and sloppily executed.
Oh dear God. Here.
You like that we were laughing and you guys can't read the cards? Okay, go ahead and read yours.
Siskel and Ebert have panned stabbing the shit out of Capri Sun as poorly conceived and sloppily executed.
That's a fact. Siskel and Ebert have panned 3 hours of pimple popping videos as poorly conceived and sloppily executed.
Oh, that's gross.
I know it is.
And also a good one.
I know, they're both good. I say
don't
we
know.
both win. How's that?
Okay,
I
we
say
both win. We can
Because
win
that's
that.
funny. Because that's funny. Okay,
All
here we
right.
go. Uh-oh.
Oh.
That's a made card by Jen. It says, Natalie loves... cool 90s up in the front hair.
For real. That's actually real. Mine sucks. So
Painting with all colors of the wind.
Painting all the colors of the wind.
Wow, we maybe should not even.
We should not.
Okay, well, that was probably enough.
I actually have a pretty decent voice, but not like that.
No, me neither.
How did I get an extra one? I could have been getting sad for no reason, but that really seemed like a wah-wah.
Totally. Totes and goats.
All right.
Okay, ew, God, there's a hair in there. That's disgusting.
I can't help you there.
Well, friends, here we are. I'm not sure what shape we're in. I'll be honest. Natalie and I, not a great week. So, I'm all about being real with you all. So, if we feel a little like,
you know, there was a snowstorm.
Actually,
in
sort of
October.
two. But sort of two.
There's two.
Think about it.
I mean, it really,
How screwed up is that?
So when we were talking about this, I'm fine.
That's what I feel like, right?
You're fine. We're fine. Whatever. Do you need a fortune?
Sure.
Yep. That's the week. That's the week. Right there. Fuck, he can't even.
When your week is so bad, you can't even get a full-on fortune. Can we talk about it? I know, right? So, we were talking about the general experience we're all having of this extended COVID thing. And, you know, like,
I'm not in like all of 2020.
I mean all of 2020, but I mean all of 2020.
There were murder
hornets.
Just
so many.
There's an election in America that's, you know, got us all.
Race issues. Yep. I mean, just we could
George
sit
Floyd
and
was
go. I mean, like
in our city.
So many things. So we were talking about this extended period of time, and the reason it came forward for me, and how it started a conversation for you and I was, How many people say that they can't meditate?
Ah.
And I'm going to back this up in a minute.
I'm one of these people.
First of all, a lot of people feel that way in the best of circumstances. Okay, so I don't want to devalue that because I think that's really fair too. However, I'm going to tell you that as I've been working with people in this time of 2020 and COVID in particular, like the last 6 months, it really feels, and I've had this almost same experience, it almost feels like it is hard living in this highly agitated, weird state like we are for an extended period of time. Like it's our new norm a little bit. I hate to say it. I think it will get better. That's not what I'm saying. I think it's almost like we're so activated internally and emotionally that we are struggling to show up with focus and peace and quiet and stillness. And I see it in the kids I work with. I see it in my adults I'm working with. I see it in myself. And I think it's really what prompted me to bring this forward to Natalie. Like, I know some people talk a lot about having a hard time with mindfulness.
Yeah.
Why is that? Like, what is happening right now? And this whole, like, I'm okay, you're okay, we're okay, but we're not really okay kind of thing. And so we just wanted to talk a bit about that today. That's really kind of, I don't know what you have to add.
And then our weeks ended up just shoveling shit at us so that we could, you know, really like feel it in our soul.
We're showing up for real today.
And I do want to echo what Jen said. Like, mindfulness meditation practice is difficult for most people.
Yep.
It is also something that we'll recommend over and over, and I can tell you all about the science behind it, and Jen will tell you all of her, you know, energetic experiences with it. And it is actually a practice or an exercise, and if you don't keep doing it, you don't build the skill for it. If you don't have the skill for it, it's hard. So if I just said to you, like, I'm gonna go run a marathon this weekend, that's a joke. And I would be in the hospital for a hot while. So this is similar. You really have to build up the capacity to have a practice for it.
For sure. We don't say I'm gonna go sit in my mindfulness perfection. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm gonna go sit in my yoga perfection. Nope.
Good luck with that.
That's exactly right. So the idea is that it's why we call it practice, and and we have to show up to it time and time again. It is hard, you guys, even with a pretty significant meditation practice, it's hard for me. And so I want to say that I think that there is an experience we are living through and I want to validate that. I guess I want to put that onto the table to talk about and really recognize, because I don't know when this is going to be done. I mean, I really don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, and that's kind of what we want to talk about.
And
if even when it's done, if it is done,
whatever,
even if it's done,
yes,
there is never going back to when this happened. Like, there's no going back to normal.
Right.
We have to create a new normal.
Exactly. And I think that was really, I was talking with a good friend of mine, and she was like saying something about when it was going back to normal. She was just having a conversation. This was not some big deep-seated, right? She was just talking. And I all of a sudden said to her, I go, I think this might be it. I mean, this isn't as good as it gets, don't get me wrong. But I was like, I kind of think this might be the new norm, my friend. I think we might be facing significant changes that are not going to go backwards to what we anticipated.
Right.
And unfortunately probably took for granted. And so that was what really prompted this conversation, was like, how are we going to be in the now? How are we going to deal with what it is right now? And learn how to be in that place. And validating that struggle of being mindful and showing up in meditation. And some people are killing it, you guys. I mean, I don't want to say that everyone's struggling, but I think that I don't even know that we realize we're so affected. Maybe that's what I want to say. I don't know that we realize it.
We don't. And I think a lot of us are, we're at this phase with it where we're now dissociating completely. And so what does that technically mean? What that technically means is it is such an emotionally triggering event that we can't sit in that much emotion without feeling overwhelmed and paralyzed. So our brain, by design, then tells us, well, it's not happening. This is all normal. We're okay. It's all going to be okay. And it's not. And so that is also a piece of why we want to talk about how important it is to bring about a new normal in your life and to bring about this way of thinking about it in your life, because it's gonna have to be intentional. You're actually gonna have to use the frontal lobe to ride the limbic system until that dissociative, you know, it's a survival technique, but you're going to have to tell that survival technique, I'm not surviving, I'm living, and my new life has to have a new set of rules, and it's going to look like this.
Right,
yeah.
exactly. So why people struggle with mindfulness and meditation? We're just going to go through that a little bit. So trauma response, we said, to COVID. That's one that I really feel like, again, we just want to revisit and validate, because I think as we settle back in, and I'm developing new norms. I mean, I think you and I are both kind of going through our own developing, you know, you have be in school, like, so you know, so the kids are sort of returning to this hybrid, which is actually not going to be a thing anymore. I think pretty much they're going to cancel that out. But anyway, so we keep trying to sort of add in layers of socialization again, you know, the layers of work, etc. And I don't know how that's going to be. We're trying. But I still think we're facing, you know, massive shifts. And so it's not done. And I guess I think that's what I was thinking is like, oh, we really need to talk about the fact this is not done. And that is a trauma. That's actually like traumatic, what we've all lived through. The losses, the grief, not seeing family. I'm not going to see my family on Thanksgiving. You know, there's stuff, man. Like there's stuff for all of us. Like it's really hard. Yeah. And so we want to recognize that. Because I think that's, if you don't have awareness and really call that out, I feel like we're not healing it then. We're not thinking, we're not mindful about that. And like, let's just know that this is a hard, weird time, right? Give ourselves credit, give ourselves some space, and then effort towards creating that kind of new norm for each of us, whatever that means. And then social media, we were talking about this. I just watched, what's the documentary? That's probably why none of my technology works anymore, by the way. Social Dilemma.
Dilemma, yeah.
On Netflix. Friends, if you've not watched that documentary.
You'll be in Facebook jail. I'm just going to warn you. I watched it, and I was in Facebook jail for a whole week for no reason.
And I just watched it, and now my live posts, by the way, don't work anymore. Just saying. I mean, just saying.
Like, that's why none of you are
legitimately
watching us, right?
Yep. So, like, my technology quit working. So, anyway, just saying. So, they refer to users in the video for addicts and social media. So, it's very interesting that they refer to us in
only
this day and age.
two places where you hear the end user being called a user is with social media and with drugs and alcohol. Think about that.
So just interesting to make the parallel connection, just saying. We won't spend all day on that because we could do 6 sessions on just social media. Sure. But I think the point being, we are so inundated with imagery and sounds and entertainment. And because we are so connected to our phones, our computers, and I myself included, this is not a judgment at all. I think now we almost don't hold the capacity the same way to sit in stillness.
I don't think so either.
We're so you can't, so like,
and that's not a COVID 2020 thing.
Oh no, no.
That definitely is an America thing. One of the, I do actually just listen to things that are research all week long. I know I'm a total nerd, but one of the things I was listening to this week reminded me about the literature on learned helplessness. And learned helplessness is rat research is kind of where we've kind of seen what these behavior patterns are that we dub learned helplessness. So they can take a rat and put it in this little box that the bottom of the box shocks their little feet, but they learn that if they press a lever, then it stops that whole thing from happening. So I do this, then the aversive stimulus goes away. Then they take these same rats and they put them in a tank of water and they make them swim and swim and swim and swim and swim until they figure they're just going to be drowning, and they learn to just float. And that's where they're at. Then they take the rat at that point, so it's not dead yet, put it back in the box, because we are super awesome as psychologists.
Like, keep going.
This is not like ASPCA approved, FYI. Anyway, so they put them back in the box, and those rats don't go back to press the lever. So learned helplessness becomes a state of mind. Even though these rats have in their brains that they can go back into this box, in the box environment, they'll press the lever and they can get away from the aversive stimuli. They have now gotten themselves into this whole mindset of it's never going to get any better. And I guarantee you, all of us are here right now. All of us are here right now. One of the things, though, as a psychologist that I get geeky excited about is it is also the precipice. It's also that vulnerable spot where we are offered the opportunity to learn our ways out of it. So you can take those same rats and put them in situations where you like literally lift them up, put them on the damn lever again, pick them up, put them on the damn lever again, and then they learn they can get out of that circumstance. Yeah. We can do that intentionally with ourselves as well. And I want you to think about how many things that we were just doing because we had to do it, because that's what we've always done, going to work, going to school, doing the things, being stressed out, numbing out in order to have to get the energy to go back to work, that this is disrupting, that this now becomes an opportunity for us to look at and say, does this serve me anymore? Do I really want to work a 5-day, 70-hour work week? Or now that I've learned that I could work like this, still survive, still maybe not have all the same things I had for my family, but have some things that I desire for my family, maybe I need to rethink what my new normal is going to look like. So there, while it's like, oh my God, that research, Dr. Marr, like, shut up, I don't need to hear this. It also has this other side to it. This becomes our opportunity. It's like the big knock on the head. Do you want to do this again? No, you don't actually want to do this again. So start to be thinking about, what do I really want in my life?
Yeah. I think for me, and I know it, I think watching that documentary, and we won't spend a lot of time on it, but I think I knew it before logically here. Yeah. I know we all spend too much time on technology. We do. I like I said, totally guilty of this. So this is no, like, throwing shade at anybody. But really understanding, I think for the first time, that it is pure manipulation. When you're engaging with social media, what you see is literally manipulated. And so it can manipulate your feelings. It manipulates what you buy. It manipulates how you think and how you see the world, who you vote for. I mean, it's literally, there is a lot going on there. And even though I knew it watching this video, I was like, oh man, like so the more that we delve into that world, the more we're being manipulated, the less connected I feel like we really are to like who we are. I think because we're being manipulated and we don't even, it's so subtle, it's so well done. You don't even know it's happening. You know what I mean? Like, you think you do, but you don't. It's like coming at you in all of these different layers. And I was like, man, we really need to be thinking about, and I know there's a ton of talk about this, but like, how is social media really influencing our experience? And energetically, friends, it is not good for us. I'm telling you what, it is not good for us. And it's not good for our kids. Our kids are being inundated. And they said in the documentary, like, this was never intended. What we created was never meant for children. Never. There was no intentionality around providing something that would be good. They also
talk about how most of the programmers and tech guys and ladies that get into this field don't have their kids having cell phones until like late teen years. Like they don't give them access. So think about that. So the very creators of this kind of product and software are like, oh, no. And they're using psychological principles. I guarantee you there are great psychological minds that are contributing to how and when and where and what we do to get you to be spoon-fed what you want to hear at that, or desire to hear at that time. And it becomes an addictive cycle. Like, I mean, I feel my phone buzz on me.
Oh, yeah.
When it's not on me.
Right.
I freak out when all of a sudden I realize I don't know where my phone is. Absolutely. And if I am not thinking about it, what is the thing that you catch me doing? Looking at my phone. And I'm not unique. I know that most of us are like that.
Right, totally. I think there's a little hit that we all get using that term of addiction. There is a little hit we get when I get a text, when I get a little notification on Facebook, when I get somebody that likes something on Instagram. It is unfortunately fueling us, much like if we went to a casino and we were gambling and I get the, ding, 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 and I'm winning my $10, right? I spent $200, but I'm getting my $10 and I'm super stoked about it, right?
It's the best reinforcement strategy. It's called intermittent reinforcement. So it's not predictable, but you know it's going to come. You know it's going to come.
Just not
maybe
win.
the next time, maybe the next time, maybe the next time. Yes!
Right.
So then you keep going back.
Right. So we're losing the skill, I think, to sit in our own bodies, to sit in our own feelings. Because of COVID and then because of social media, I think we have gotten so sucked into that energetically, it's stealing our ability to sit still without.
Yeah.
buzzing, you know, oh, I gotta check. No, you don't have to check. You can set your phone aside for 10, 15, 20 minutes. You're gonna be okay. It'll still be there when you get there, right? But it's really hard for all of us to do that. And so I want to add that in there. I know I probably just made like lots of haters right just now, just talking about this, because I know it's not everyone's, you know, favorite subject.
You can hate me. Haters gonna hate.
Sorry. So that was one. Okay, go ahead, Natalie. You take up the next one.
I don't know. Where
Escape tactics as a defense mechanism. I think you talked about
yeah.
Wow, this is really my ears.
Well, but it goes back to that dissociation. So one of the things that happens when we're in a state of threat always by design is that the brain will take us to another place. So we don't like being in the present moment right now. Because who the hell wants to be here?
Nobody.
Let's be honest, right? Like, do you want to know what was on the debates last night? I sure as hell don't.
Nope.
And that's the point. Like, your brain knows it's not going to get out of this. So I don't know if I've done this before on Women of Wellness. I do this kind of education with my clients a lot. But there's fight, flight, and there's freeze, fall. Freeze, fall is kind of what I'm talking about in this dissociative state. So if it's a gazelle out on the, you know, safari, and a lion comes after it, first you run, that's avoidance or flee. Then you get caught and you kind of try to struggle away, that's fight. And then you realize as the gazelle, oh dang, like I'm done. So you collapse. Like the brain tells you you have to collapse, and you don't know that the lion has you in your mouth. Like you literally don't know the lion has you in your mouth. Then the lion like shakes you around, thinks that it's gotten your jugular, thinks it's, you know, gonna go get its buddies, drops you, goes to get its buddies to come back. The gazelle shakes awake and runs off. So fall is actually an adaptive skill. It helps us to live in an environment of acute stress and not know that we're in a state of acute stress. So what's happening to us right now is we're gonna find ourselves looking to the phone, looking to get online, looking to watch Netflix ad nauseum, looking to drink, looking to overeat. Look, I mean, the COVID-19, I mean, look at the themes that you're seeing come up. It is by design. Your brain is telling you to do those things because it doesn't want you to be here right now.
Exactly.
What we are going to tell you is mindfulness is going to actually be the antidote to this, but it is also the biggest threat. Mindfulness quite literally is bringing your brain to be hyper aware of where it is right now in this moment. So the system that thinks it's threatened right now is going to go, no, like, hell no, we're not going to go do that. So when it's hard to do mindfulness, usually it is extra hard to do it when you're in the midst of this. And yet research over and over and over shows us that if we can get these skill sets down, they actually are the thing that start to alleviate us and start to help us to be, the watchtower comes online, the medial prefrontal cortex, and it tells us there's a bigger picture here. Yep, 2020, shit show. And I have all these skills. 2020, shit show. And what am I learning from this? What is it teaching me? What do I want to do now? And that's kind of what we're talking about here is like, it's going to be tough. We get that. And it's tough usually, more tough now. And still, we are highly recommending that you get into a practice where you're allowing yourself to build that self-awareness.
Yeah, we're going to, in a minute, we're going to get to 5 ways to make these shifts, just so you know. So we're coming around to the, I know, right? We're coming around. And actually,
you might have to put something in my mouth.
And actually, I made a PDF for you all that I will link below that has the list of things that we're talking about. It won't have detail, but it will hopefully jog your memory. And then what I would recommend, if you're interested, is listening to this and then sitting down with that and maybe making some notes for yourself. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if something kind of resonates with you, like an area that you think you could put some energy to. But we said the last 2 things that I think negatively impact mindfulness and meditation. ADHD, that's not me picking on anybody. I have loved ones that have this. So I just know that by nature, but I will say this, there's a lot of people that appear to have ADHD that I think are anxious. And overly stressed and traumatized. So here's why I say that's tricky, because that ends up lumping in almost as a trauma response, that if you're wired to struggle with attention, this is not going to be an easy task for you, okay? Yeah. And mindfulness and meditation, by the way, doesn't have to look the same. We won't get into that today because we don't have like 8 hours to talk about that. Just know there's a ton of there's a ton of ways you can do mindfulness and meditation, and it's really about developing your very own practice of that. And so at some point we'll get around to that. Today I don't want to expand on
overwhelm
that.
you. We're not going to give you too much at once.
We want to try not to.
Time.
And your hormones. And so as you age, I particularly hate to say it, I'm going to talk to the women in our community. As you age, your hormones change. One of the things I actually frequently heard women talk about was feeling lack of focus.
Yep.
As they age and their hormones. And so as we become more emotional and things are changing hormonally, even certainly during pregnancy as well, you'll find that people will not feel as capable of sitting in a moment of focus. So
we call it brain fog.
There you go. And so there's some really, so you can see, I think the thing is that there's choices we make that interfere technology, and there's also things that we can't help. Being a traumatic experience, if you're wired for ADHD or anxiety or anything like that, and hormones, you're not in control of your hormones. There's some things that also influence us. It's both like cultural, personal, biological, right? So there's all of these things that kind of show up and can create some struggle for us.
For sure.
But there are things we can do. So let's get to the 5 things, right? 5 things to make a shift. So I said, set a time limit for social media.
You can do it on your phone.
You totally
can do it to your kids, so you can do it to yourself. I'm telling you.
You can set a timer, you can whatever you need to do. Here's why I say this though, and take this for what this is worth. Here's what's fascinating. During COVID, I took like a hot minute off. I mean, I would scroll, but it was literally like this. Just making sure I wasn't missing anything important. I felt better. I just read someone else talk about taking a break and how much better they felt. So here's the irony. Is that while we're connected on Facebook, it's also manipulated. And so I want you to be mindful about that, right? That what amazes me is the significant improvement people feel when they actually start cutting out how much time they're spending on social media.
Right.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it's all the same. TV, it can be TV, whatever it is. News, for sure, news will not help either. I hate to tell you all. When I was in my office and I had people with anxiety, I notoriously recommended that they stay away from the news on a regular basis, actually, because it's a bunch of powerless trauma.
It's called media diet. Whoa. Not diet like you have to diet to, not like that, but just you have to be particular about what you put into your diet of any
what
kind.
You digest.
And your media diet is one of those. And when you're under extra stress, then you need to be even more limited or intentional about what it is that you let yourself watch.
Yeah. So taking time aside to do things that are not, even with your family, that are puzzles or games or things that are not including technology, etc., video game playing, whatever. We do movie nights in my home. I will tell you, we do snuggle and have movie nights from time to time. I still really cherish that. But I do think it's also important to do, some things that have nothing to do with technology, where everyone, and this rule, by the way, at our dinner table, no phones. Play a game. Maybe not with your children, but with your older kids you can. So anyway, but I really like this idea of just being mindful about it, right? That's mindfulness. It's paying attention. It's limiting where you feel is appropriate, setting some standards for yourself, some guidelines for you and your family. And honestly, friends too, if you get the chance to be with someone right now, I have a small number of people I'm with. I'll be my closest friends.
Am I one of them?
Clearly, when I sit next to each other, if Natalie or I have COVID, we're going down together. And so because I'm with people that I know are taking care of themselves, and so my population's very small. When we get together, it's in small groups or just one. Dude, I cherish sitting next to Natalie. I cherish my time with my friends so much more because I took for granted us being able to sit around and do the things we did and go to movies and go to dinners and go to a bar and have some appetizers and visit about our weeks or whatever. We don't get to do those things anymore. And so for me, it's put your effing phones away, friends. When you are with people, and I'm not just talking your family, because we're together 24/7. My family, I get it. I understand that. But make spaces that are free of technology. Our dinner table is one of them. If we sit down at dinner together, there is no phones at our table. It's if we're watching a movie, I'll give somebody a hard time. Okay, turn off your phone, and I put your phone away. If we're gonna do something, let's single-handedly do a thing, right?
Yeah.
But that's really important, and I really want you to embrace, man, if you're with a friend or a loved one and you get that time, man, put your technology down. Oh my God.
And don't have high expectations. We're not talking about have people over and, entertain and have to have long conversations. If you've had a hard week we have had, as we've shared, sometimes it's just to be in the presence of somebody that you care about and that cares about you.
Absolutely.
You don't have to have big conversations. You don't have to do.
It doesn't have to be heavy.
Big, heavy. Yeah, it can be just literally having something to drink and talking and looking at each other. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to have high expectations about that, but there is lots of oxytocin, which is one of our feel-good chemicals that our body actively will make when in the presence of others that we love, that you need right now.
Absolutely.
Adrenaline and cortisol is pumping through your veins. You need this stuff to kind of dampen that in your system. So just being around the people that you care about.
Yeah. So this
give somebody a hug.
This
give
is
somebody a big old hug.
If you get to see somebody, give them a hug. Really embrace that time. Take time to do Zoom calls with your family. Take time to do the FaceTimes. I know it's not the same. It's not great. But it's better than nothing. And by God, if you get time with somebody, you best be enjoying that, because we just don't know when that might not be a thing again for a hot minute. And I think I really learned, like, holy shit, I better really take advantage of this, because I took for granted the ability to really spend time with people. So just a thought. That was not even on my list. So socialize. I said socialize, and I think, and we both agree that socializing is so important. So like we did now, we're heading into a season that's going to be tougher, clearly. But like, so we did bonfires, which I love because they're outdoor, socially distant, again, small groups, you know, like when you can hold things, I think that's so important.
I bet Amazon has like depleted.
Are you joking?
It's outside
Totally.
heaters.
Oh my God, completely.
Because we're all like,
everybody's like,
we can't do anything unless we're outside and we're in Minnesota.
Exactly. And we're like hitting the season. And so things like that. And honestly, one of the others that I think has been a huge coup for me is online community. And I'm going to say this. So I just talked about technology and the horror of it, and now I'm going to go back and say the opposite. So, but here's what I'm going to say what's different is it's the discernment of the type of technology, right? That's really the money. Yeah. It's not the technology is the enemy. It's discerning what's healthy for us and good and what's not so good.
Right.
So online community are places where you go that you refuel. I take a lot of classes online. I teach classes online. And actually that feels so good to me. Ironically, as much as I dug my heels in for a minute, because I was like, no, must be with the people, because I love to connect with people in person. I have been so grateful for my online communities that I've built and the experiences people are having. I don't feel like they're getting screwed out of an experience being online. It's different in person. It's a deep connection. Like, I'm always surprised how people will show up if they're invited.
It's still a connection. I think one of the things that it departs greatly from what we're talking about in social media is it's not predictable, it's not predefined, it's not written by algorithms. You know, when you do a FaceTime, you're just talking to a person much like you would have on the phone, and now you can see their face. So it's a little bit more of the connection, like your body sees the face, and so, you know, the brain gets excited about that. And that is qualitatively different than watching a video where even if somebody's given it to you, where it's already predestined what it is, or just scrolling through TikTok, or which is like a 4-hour venture into nothingness.
Lord.
I've totally lost hours of my life. Anyway, but you know what I'm saying? Like these are still organic conversations and connections, and that's why they're appreciably different than just spending time on media. For sure. Yeah.
Just scrolling and not connecting. Exactly. So it's the connecting piece. Shocking. That's so important. And so want to throw that out there. We said finding a way to be in the new norm. You know, like I said, my friend Brie had no idea she was going to prompt this entire conversation. And I love her so much because it was just in like everyday conversation that she was like, you know, I just can't wait for it to go back to normal. And I get it. And in another day, I probably would have been like, yeah, me too. Like, blah, blah, you know. And I was like, this might be the new norm. And I wonder if, and here's my question, is I wonder if we're doing ourselves a disservice waiting for that minute. And I think that's really maybe my realization this week was, I think I have done myself a disservice when I'm waiting to go back to that I need to wrap my brain very thoroughly around the idea that this is the new norm, and things might never return exactly the way that they were.
They can't.
And I don't know that they can. And I think for me, it's like, it's mindset, right? I talk a lot about as a therapist, and even with any of my groups that I do, everything's about the lens you use.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do I have now? What have I learned from this? And what can I take from it that's better than it was before? Some things are not better, man. I'm not saying that. But it's all in how we look at it. And if our perspective is, this is a shit show and it's never going to be right till it's back to that, we are screwed, friends. So we literally, what I would say to you is like, we have an opportunity to change that up in our brains, in our experience, and our energy. And our energy responds to the way that we see things, right? Yeah. Our energy, how we feel, energetically, emotionally, mentally will respond to how we're seeing things. And if we're seeing it as like, this is effing terrible, and I don't want to live like this anymore, and I want it to go back, I think we're in serious trouble. And I think that's where a lot of us, and myself included, have been resonating, like, we can't wait for it to go back.
Right. So one of the things that I'll say about this is that the questions that are not helpful right now is, why is this happening to me and how do I get out of it? Or, you know, why is this happening to me? How do I get back to normal? Because you can't. It's a loss that we will not be able to get out of now. Even if every thing that we know to be normal went back, what doesn't ever go back is that COVID didn't happen. And that's huge. Yeah. That is a huge gaping hole in the middle of our life that we're going to have to build our lives around now. And we will, because we're wired to. But what I will say about that is it literally isn't possible to go back to normal. So it becomes one of the 5 stages of grief, which is denial. Mm-hmm. We're grieving that we can't go back, but we're grieving through believing that we're going to get to go back. Yeah. We're not going to get to go back.
Nope, there's no doing that. So and again, I don't want to say anything today because I know I'm in a dark space this week. It's just been a hard week. I don't mean this in a dark way. I actually really feel turning this corner mentally for myself of like, oh shit, I have to redo this. I'm responsible to show up in the world the way that I want it to be right now. Mm-hmm. And if I stay stuck behind this idea that it's gonna return, I'm being drugged behind a car. I mean, imagine, right? You know, you see the old school movies and like someone's like tied their like somehow to the bumper, their like foot or ankle, right? And they're getting drugged behind. That's sort of what I imagine. Yeah. This notion for me was like stepping back up and cutting that rope and like, I'm done. I'm done being drugged behind this freaking truck. Yeah. It's my job and my opportunity to step into this and view it through a different lens and show up differently to life right now. Right. Because what I was doing,
be an agent super amazing. In your life. Yeah, be an agent of change. So the locus of control isn't outside. I'm a victim of circumstance, but inside, like, what do I want to do with this? What have I learned from this? Yeah. What do I want my new normal to look like? If I, could, with my magic wand, make it happen, guess what? You have the magic wand. I know you don't think you do because it takes effort and it takes work and it takes ingenuity, but it's still yours to take on. Exactly.
So we said those things, and then the last one we ended with was guided meditation. So I'm going to talk through a couple of things quickly. I'll try not to keep you guys, we're going a little over what we like to, but what the hell. Today's the day. We're just going to roll with whatever.
And we're thing 1 and thing 2.
And that's right. So this is how we're going to do it. So guided meditations, you guys.
We're going to wear pom-poms on our head.
I get an extra 15 minutes.
But she's going to do something.
Well, I am going to do something for you guys today. But so what I want to say about guided meditation that's so smart is that it takes out of the equation your personal ability to stay focused and quiet, because right now it is hard. And so a lot of times when I have beginning meditators, what I'll encourage is guided visualizations and meditation so that someone else is walking you through it. And you don't have to. All you have to do is show up and do your best to focus, right? So I love guided meditations. I'm going to tell you what movement. I'm going to give you an easy movement thing in a hot second, so remind me. Dance like no one's watching. When no one's watching, turn on some tunes in your bathroom by yourself and jam out. I don't care if you got to put your AirPods in. Like moving your body is releasing stagnant, stuck energy. We need to do that. That's really super important. And then the breath of joy, which I'm going to go through a movement and breath of joy in a minute. So we'll kind of wrap up with that. But I wanted to bring forward that idea of using guided formats. It's where apps become important, or if you have someone you're following that's doing some of these things. Obviously, I've done a Nidra series. I have a new one coming up in November. Those are what I'm getting at, that if we have somebody to listen to and have an experience in a community, it's right discerning, good technology use, and we're showing up and doing that. That's a really beautiful way to plug into that space if you're struggling. And my niece was like, that's one of my very favorite ways ever, because someone else is doing the work.
It is the very easiest.
It's so good.
Totally. When you're having trouble doing mindfulness or meditation, is to have a guided meditation. So it's basically somebody with a very soothing voice like Jen,
which is hard to imagine, isn't it?
Through. It's lovely though. It really is helpful. So if you haven't ever done it, or you've kind of poo-pooed it because you're like, I can't do that, or it's never worked for me, try again. And remember that the exercise of it is to keep bringing your attention back to it.
Exactly.
By definition, your brain will go off and do its thing. So you're trying to intentionally bring it back, which is beefing up that premedial frontal cortex. I'm sorry.
Whoops! It's okay. Exactly. So we talked about like the last one was releasing emotions you've been hanging on to.
Yes.
And so I'm going to teach you guys like a fun one in a minute, but like watching a sad movie and letting yourself cry.
Ugly cry.
So like Natalie,
like
if
nobody's
I do that,
watching
on,
ugly cry.
I can't do that because it hangs with me, the energy. Like I get in a funky and then I can't get out of it. But where I can do it's music. So Natalie's was, which is genius because some people can do that. Like I said, it sticks around with me for like a day and a half. I can't, but I can do music and I'll just sit and cry. If I listen to music that really stirs me up or has deep nostalgic meaning for me, sobbing. So whatever resonates with you, letting that out. Like we really need to, whether it's rage or sadness, it's deep grief or frustration or disappointment, whatever it is, man, we need to release that. So I'm going to teach you a quick couple tools. Are we good? Do you think
we're good.
We'll come back to whatever. So one thing I want to teach you that I taught my women in my Goddess in the Go, because I just love this so much, and I actually taught my teens this week in yoga, was just shaking your hands out. Literally, you can shake your hands out wherever. And I know this looks really simple and stupid. So here's the irony, as Natalie is our she's going to do this because I'm sweating already.
Like I'm not.
You got to keep energy shifting. Yeah, keep doing that. What's interesting is swimmers will get up when they're, because I have a daughter that's a swimmer, she's going to sections tonight.
Oh, that's right.
And
They're
there's
just
all
like
the nervous energy. But they are up there, and now they're getting the blood flow right to their muscles, their legs, like right. But they're actually inadvertently, without knowing it, also healing themselves because this is releasing all that pent up energy, right? And so there is this legit thing about just shaking your hands. I like doing it standing up, but you can do it anywhere, anytime. Literally, I know it sounds funny, but just doing that for 10 seconds, like, feels different in your body. Like I actually feel more energized. Like I actually can feel the energy. Like feels different already. Isn't that crazy?
Just try it.
It's so good. So that's one thing. And then the other thing that I love to do is I'm going to teach you guys breath of joy. I'm going to do it seated because it's really hard to stand up in here because I'm literally backed up. So if you're standing, I would say feet like hip width apart. And all you're going to do, and so you might want to back up a hot second, just a little, and have space. Because what you're going to do is you're going to inhale, and then forward fold. So it's inhale, and you'd fold all the way over. So even in your chair, you can do this. You can do this seated, except for you don't want to bang your head. So that's why. So standing, right? So standing, it's like inhale, inhale, one more, inhale, I'm telling you what, that's called breath of joy. I'm serious. Some of these things, if you just start moving, you feel different. You feel better. And so as goofy as it sounds, you guys, I know these things just, I'm like, Jen, come on. Try it and tell me you don't feel different.
Any people that have littles in your life, just put on whatever they like to dance to and say, hey, I'll dance with you, and you're done.
Absolutely.
Like, they will be so, they love that. They will be so excited.
Absolutely.
And same thing, like just...
Right, anything. It doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. Anything. Just show up to it.
I like
Isn't that so good? Yeah. And it's so powerful. And like I said, what I love is you can do it seated or you can do it standing. We just don't have enough room here. Sorry, everyone. Without banging ourselves in some fashion or each other, which might be quite funny, but let's just not head into our weekend with a bruise of some kind.
Probably not.
So I wanted to put those things out there as little exercises. That's one of the things that Natalie and I hope to do as well, is kind of show up with little like nuggets of things. Yep. So here, thank you for joining us. The 5 things to make shifts, I'm just going to list them. We're not going to go through them.
And there's a PDF.
And there's a PDF I'll put in the comments. 5 ways to make shifts. Set a time limit for social media. Socialize in a safe way. Find a way to be in the new norm. Guided meditation. And releasing emotions by movement. So really, it's kind of movement, but like you get the drift. And so I'll put that PDF in the comments below if you guys want to print that off. Then you've got that reminder of like, what can I be doing? If you're feeling stuck, that's why I love visuals. I'm such a visual person. I create them all the time because it's how I learn. So I like having a little something to look at. So place this somewhere, and if you're having a rough minute, pull that sucker out and take a look at it and see if any of those or all of them there might be little things you can do to kind of start feeling a little bit different. I think that's really important. And then I will mention on my way out 2 things. I think 2 things. God, I don't
Two
know.
things.
I think I'm going to run a teen yoga series. I lied 3.
Oh.
I'm going to do teen yoga starting in November, Wednesday evenings again, just a short series, a 4-week series. We're going to miss the week of Thanksgiving because that's too chaotic on a Wednesday night of Thanksgiving. And then we'll go 1 week into December. So it's going to be a 4-week series for teens that I'm going to be putting out shortly. I'm also going to be doing a new Chakra Yoga Nidra series. It's a 7-week series. I'm so excited about it. I have opened that up. The first 5 people that sign up get a boil. I was going to say a bonus oil set. Oh my God. You're hopefully not going to get a
An oil, an essential oil set. People like that stuff. She just said it wrong.
So you're gonna get sexually transmitted disease from me. I just sent you one in the mail.
I'm sorry.
This is so in line with the rest of my week. Okay.
See what happens when we day drink while we're doing this?
Okay. Woo. So the first 5 people that sign up for that Chakra Yoga Nidra, you're going to get a beautiful pack of essential oils from me as a bonus that you can use, with each kind of week, we're going to do a different chakra. And so you'll have a fun oil to accompany that, which is awesome. So that's a bonus. So anything you want to sign up for, if you're interested, is www.laughinglotuswellness.com. We just talked about Nidra, and really having guided meditation was exactly what that is. It's so money. It's such an awesome experience. I'm looking forward to that. That will also start in November. So we're like kind of a couple weeks away, a week or 2 away now from things. It's like a week. Dang, like a week and a couple days. I forget that it's that soon. So anyway, we'll see how this all comes to fruition, because I didn't realize we were quite that close. But we're getting there. So that is all up online. And then I'm going to be holding a conversation about friendship with women.
I know. I'm so excited.
And it's just a conversation. And I haven't picked the date. I would love for you to be a part of that conversation. Okay. I really felt inspired that I kept seeing women talk about friendship and being B-list friends, not feeling important, not feeling heard. And I was like, we need to have a convo about this. This is actually like a problem.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to get some of us together to have that conversation. And so if anybody wants to be involved in that, you're welcome. Just let me know. Reach out to me and let me know if you want to do that. It's going to be a WebEx. It's not going to be a live Facebook thing. I actually want it to be more intimate and people can really talk and share. So we're going to have a conversation about friendship. I called it the Friendship Summit. We need to come together and talk about some of those things. So we're going to be doing that as well, probably a little bit into November. I'm going to get us kind of over the first hump of the month so that I can get through my stuff and started, and then I think I'll have energy to do another. It was that's a lot of stuff. So November, we'll shoot for that friendship conversation. So again, Chakra Yoga Nidra starts on Sunday the 1st. I have teen yoga starting the week after, I believe would be the week after that. So right in that same first week of November. And then a friendship conversation. Yay. So do you have anything going on? Do you have anything new going on? Tell us what you've got new going on before we sign off.
Finally put together my website.
It's so good.
Vlog. It's called learntoloveyourstory.com. So that's it. Just plug in learntoloveyourstory, all one big word.com. And that is my new receptacle for all of my writing. I do post stuff that we do here just so that it has another place to live. Yeah. And all of the videos that I did at the beginning of COVID, which might be relevant to what we were talking about today, because I'll go through all 5 of the grief sequence. And I start it today at 4 p.m. It's going to be blasted across my social media. So Natalie M. Marr Counseling. I wrote this almost 3 years ago in November, because my mother's death was the 10-year anniversary then. It'll be 13 years this year, but it was the very first blog that I ever wrote. So I figured if I'm going to redo my blog that I might throw that post out, and I would encourage you to read it because it's obviously something that's very personal to me. But what I'm talking about really is very much what we've talked about here, just kind of what happens when you have this major boom loss in your life, and kind of how do you pick yourself up and keep moving forward. And for me, one of the most powerful ways to do that is to tell your story. Learn to love your story, obviously. And my first blog was the power of our stories. So enjoy that. I hope that you like it, and subscribe if you want me to shoot you an email and let you know when new things are coming down the pike.
So you guys, thank you so much for joining us. We know we went over it. Today was just a day.
It's just
My
a
friends,
day.
I'm sorry. It's where we went. It's how it worked. We try to keep it short and sweet for you guys. That's not how it worked today. We'll be back in 2 weeks. I don't know what the date is because my phone's not working. So I don't know what that is. But in 2 weeks, sure.
I can look.
We'll be back here and doing another
It's November or something.
It
6th,
sure
I
enough
think.
is November.
November.
That's what I say when I have no idea.
6th.
November 6th. So we'll be back here November 6th. Join us again. Who knows what we'll be talking about. If you've got questions or recommendations, right? Always way more fun if you guys say anything you guys want to know more about. It's just way more fun.
Just let us
than
know.
us boobs figuring things out. What somebody might be saying something in there.
Somebody's
Wonderful
saying something?
laughter on Friday. Thank you, Marsha. I'm so glad you thought something was funny. Was it that I said I was going to send you a sexually transmitted disease in a box?
I don't know. That was the first.
Oh my God! I'm going to send you some boils. What? You guys.
I just can't. I don't even know how to follow that. Like, really?
There is no following that, and maybe that's a good thing. So, my friends, until next time, we'll see you the 6th. Come back and join us. If you've got questions or recommendations, things you'd love to hear about, please, please, please let us know. And I hope to see you guys around. Hope to see you in our page. Please feel free to show up in Women of Wellness. Show up in Natalie's blog. It's amazing. Her blog is awesome, you guys. Go check out her videos. Check out her writing. There's some really cool material out there. And so get out there and use that stuff. That's why it's there. It's meant for y'all. It's meant for y'all. So you guys take care. Have an awesome weekend. Try those exercises. I need more of this.
I need more of this.
To
We'll
music.
just end here.
We're not on Facebook.
I gotta turn it off.
Okay.